After 2 days in Iowa, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has been making campaign stops in New Hampshire. And former President Trump, he's in Iowa today for a number of events. CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joins us now from Des Moines, Iowa. Ed, good to have you here from the Hawkeye State. Today was the first full day where the Florida governor and Trump were trading barbs while each other were on the campaign trail. Tell us about what you're seeing out there.
Well, notably, former President Trump here in Des Moines today holding a series of much smaller, maybe more impromptu, and in some cases completely closed-door events, and traveling with a more traditional press pool like the one that the president might travel with, as Nancy was referring to earlier. Not the kind of big stadium or auditorium or racetrack-style rallies that he's known to have in the past and that he's postponed here in recent weeks due to weather. Instead, meeting with a group of conservative activists, ministers, other active Republican Party members, knowing that if you can reach the local influencers, eventually you can convince them to convince their friends and neighbors and associates to come out and caucus for you. Throughout the day, though, relentlessly attacking former Governor Ron DeSantis, or not current Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. It's notable to have an actual active governor in a race, not a former president or a former governor. And he continues to go after DeSantis on how he handled COVID, his vow to totally revamp Washington over the course of 8 years, suggesting, I don't need 8 years, I just need 6 months. Ron DeSantis turns around and says, well, if it was so easy, why didn't you do it over the course of 4 years? You can see where this is headed. But what it signals is the former president is paying extra close attention to what DeSantis is up to. Why is that? Well, he described in a radio interview Tuesday night here in Iowa the emerging dynamic between him and DeSantis as a, quote, war, saying that his strategy is to go after whoever's in second place and not worry about who might be in eighth or ninth place, hoping to knock that one out, deal with the next one, and ultimately prevail.
Ed, tell us more about the details of the back and forth.
Well, we have some of this to show people. What we've noticed is the former president, again, seizing on some of the rhetorical details that DeSantis has been sharing. Well, DeSantis turns around and questions things like the former president's electability or his record over the 4 years he was president. Take a listen.
I've been watching DeSantis go out and say, I've got 8 years. It's going to be 8 years. Let me tell you something. Right there, you should vote against him. It'll take me 6 months to have it totally the way it was. We'll have it fast.
So DeSantis, again, campaigning today in New Hampshire, making 4 stops with his wife, Casey, and also not overtly talking about the former president during his scripted remarks, but brings it up sort of obliquely or indirectly and under questioning by reporters. But here's a sample of what he said.
Leadership is also not entertainment. It's not about building a brand. It's not about virtue signaling. It is about producing results for the people that you represent.
That obviously a reference to the former reality TV star. But you get a sense, Bob, of where this is headed. It's questions of style, questions of rhetoric, questions of priorities, questions of leadership ability. And while the former president may be driving it harder, DeSantis is definitely exhibiting a willingness to engage when attacked.
And I really would love your reporter's assessment from being on the ground there. You know, back in 2016, Trump didn't win Iowa. Ted Cruz wins Iowa, the Texas senator.
Nope.
So, right. So you wonder, Ed, do the DeSantis people, do the other advisors to other contenders, do they say to themselves, there is a path here against Trump with a traditional Republican coalition, evangelical voters? Is that model of Huckabee, of Santorum, of Ted Cruz, is that still a playbook being employed? And how are voters reacting to that sort of pitch?
It's definitely still a playbook or a strategy that several are going to try to run. DeSantis, first and foremost, and most expensively, because of the super PAC that's supporting him, Never Back Down, and its plans to spend tens of millions knocking on doors, already having knocked on thousands, with plans to go back 4 or 5 times. Mike Pence will be here, as you know, starting next week, and basically plans to campaign for governor and try to do what Huckabee did and what what Ted Cruz did as well. Tim Scott would make a play for those more traditional evangelical, socially conservative voters. His whole faith and freedom focus is something that's quite appealing. Talked to a voter a little while ago over lunch who said, look, you know, Trump, if it's him, ultimately fine. But there's a lot of stuff that's there with him that we just don't need anymore. DeSantis, yeah, he's done good stuff as Florida governor. Nikki Haley said some good things. Tim Scott, love what he's saying. So clearly they're starting to think about it. They know they've got options. They know perhaps the default option, or the if it's him, so be it option, is Trump. But if somebody else can convince enough people around here, yeah, they could very easily prevail. But of course, winning the Iowa caucus, as Ted Cruz will tell you, as Mike Huckabee will tell you, as Rick Santorum will tell you, does not mean you win the nomination. And that's where the DeSantis guys go, we have the money now between a campaign and a super PAC to make it into New Hampshire, to make it into South Carolina, and the dozen or so Super Tuesday states yet to come. The other guys, at least so far, haven't been able to demonstrate an ability to plan ahead that far.
Ed, when you said Pence might be running for governor, essentially, of Iowa, it reminded me of what a source told me the other day, that Pence is looking at real estate in Des Moines. I said, are you serious? They said no, but he's all but looking at real estate in Des Moines. Ed O'Keefe, on the ground in Des Moines. Thank you.